won't you come over? Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah, 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 nah. Delve into emotion, leave us in this moment. Yeah. Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah, 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 nah. Delve into emotion, leave us in this moment.
Don't you say it, I can't hear it. I get defensive when I think you're calling me out. But I don't scream, I don't shout. I seethe in my anger, I swallow my answers. I try to listen, but it's all bubbling out. Can you hear me now? What are we doing?
Hey guys, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to another episode of Tech Condo. Really appreciate it that you're here live and direct on Tech Condo Live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central European time. And you know when you're live, when it's in your place, talking about dedication. I see that Clint, all the way from Gold Coast. By the way, Gold Coast is where vMix is also coming from. 4 a.m. in the morning. Wow. That is really early. So yes, like always, we will first start with a quick check-in to see how everybody's doing. The show is a little bit different today. I'm standing here. I can actually dance a little bit, not that I'm great at it as well, but I need to walk to the other desk. Hence, I am a little bit more mobile than I usually am. Though, if that is something that actually works, then maybe I'm going to do that more often. But for now, I think that this is just because I have to go back and forth between the desk that will contain this part right here. This all those cables and that kind of stuff that needs to go away. That needs to be moved into the rack, and that's what we're going to do this hour. But before we're going to do that, just a quick check-in with a lot of people are joining in. Of course, MT was one of the first. Actually, he was the first, like he always is, which is so unbelievably cool. But Eric, don't underestimate him. He was also very early today as well. All the way from Finland, Vila is also in the house. We really appreciate you for taking the time. Raul, same there. Of course, he's also live. And you guys are all talking to each other, which is always very cool. Today, you will not see my dad. He is actually a little bit ill. He has a flu or a cold, one of the two. Not serious, don't worry, but it's definitely something that he's quite under the weather. So he is not here. So there might be some cats joining us for today, which is something right there. And indeed, you might have seen me dancing in the lead-in, and of course, well, why not, right? Eric, I totally agree. Oh man, way too early, 4 a.m. in the morning, and also setting the alarm. Well, thank you so much for your dedication there. Indeed. Thomas is also in the house all the way from Seattle, Pike's Place, of course, where Starbucks is also from, and also very close to Everett, one of my favorite places to be. Boeing, of course. Let me see. Yes, he made it. Definitely great of you guys to be there. Clint says, hi everybody, looking forward to watching the show. Me too. I am also looking forward to it because I am not a live builder, so to speak. So I might be tempted to come into some issues, but that we'll see what happens. And here you have. Let's translate it. The Cable Studio, all the way from the east, from the Netherlands. Let's call it that way. MT says it's more dynamic. Very good. Thank you so much. Paul says standing could work well. You seem to have more energy. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that for saying that, Paul. Cats and racks, definitely. I love that one. Neil says, okay, someone has to say it. Which Tech Condo fans are going to join you building your streaming rack? So that's interesting because I was actually it's of course something that I typically do is these language jokes, because of course we're going to build in some fans, but we're going to do that together with fans. So. Okay, I'm laughing for myself there. It's too bad, right? Let me see. I dare say, Petra's at least one person with their flight pack open and the patches. Definitely. All right. So, okay, let's. So that is the check-in, and that is, of course, a good lead-in to talk about why we're doing this rack build. Again, this is what it looked like today. It's quite a bit of a mess at the moment. earlier this week, I actually asked you guys what you wanted to do. Do you want me to go full on, so remove everything from the rack and then put it back into that? But during the poll, it was really clear that you guys wanted me to just start from scratch. So that is basically what I am doing today. So that is not 100% because I do want to take some, spare some time for you guys. But you know what I mean when I'm saying that, right? Next to that, I am really looking forward to figure out if this will fix my problem. So the whole reason why we're building this today is that I had a problem about 2 weeks ago in the corporate event that I did at ASML, the company that I work for. And the issue was that the 2ME was, well, unresponsive. It was still working, it was still pushing out video, and it still was streaming, so to speak, but it was not really acting on my inputs. So the running idea is that my rack was fully jammed up, and therefore it didn't have enough air moving through it so that it could cool off in time. Hence, we are going to build in a fan in this episode. Mind you that during the time that I'm at the desk, I will have limited access to your comments. As a matter of fact, I can tell you where your comments are. They are right here. So I have to look here to get them. That also means that it will take some time maybe before I can ask a question. But what I will do is that I will make sure that every 2 or 3 minutes I will come back to see if there are any chats or something, because of course this is also one of the things that I want to do with you guys. So let me check very quickly before I start if I have any questions that I need to adhere to at the moment. Otherwise I will just start immediately. Anthony says, I did send you a picture of my rack on Discord, just in case you didn't see it. I will definitely have a look at it, MT, and yeah, so here we go. So now we're going to go to this thing right here. And I do need to make sure that my microphone is set up correctly for it. So there's a little bit of a thing right there. So this should sound quite okay for you guys. Let me check yep, it's still loud, so that is good. And I actually also have this picture that I have right here. Again, like I said last week, I tend to not have shortcuts during the show itself. Basically, reasoning behind it is not laziness, but it's actually the different. It's that I want to have it in my fingers, so that if something goes wrong, that I can hear it, that I can figure it out very quickly myself. But here we go. There you go. So this is the rack that I had in front of me, and I purposely added all of the colors on top of it, because I first want to talk a little bit about how we're going to do this. And the way that we're going to do this, let me check if I'm correct. You can see it. Is that I actually created this right here, and I can also show it right there. So this is a 1U patch panel that I've built. I actually built it already a couple of months ago. Actually, it was part of the 2000 subscribers stream. So oh, by the way, if you want to subscribe to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. Don't forget that. And also please like the comments and just be active. That is really appreciated. Okay, so this is all kinds of input and outputs, and basically what I've decided on, that blue will be the inputs. Green will be the outputs. Those are just 3, as you can see. Purple will be all inside of the unit, so that's basically inside of it. And then these are just loose cables. This is a red Ethernet port for the web presenter, and a white USB-C port for basically controlling the ATEM when it's in the rack. So I will be removing all of these cables. Oh, and of course I also have, not to forget, this Thunderbolt cable right here. Let me get this right here and push it on this desk. And then make sure that we can start to build it together. Again, the reason why we're doing this is really because I had some issues with the heat. That's at least what we think, and that's also why we're gonna change a little bit the sequence in the rack. Let me remove these cables as well. It's gonna be a bit messy here, and that's because my studio is of course quite small, as you can see. I believe. Hence, it's always a little bit of a challenge. So let's just start with the first thing that we're going to do, and that is the fans. And once we have we have added the fans, we will definitely then start to go and check comments. So this is the AC Infinite right here. Let me see if I can put it on the screen. Let me give you a little bit more light here. There you go. This is battery powered, so it might not work for a long time, but at least for the time that it's working is better. Okay, so this is the AC Infinite right here. These are 6 fans that are actually blowing out of the rack, so towards me. So they're not an intake, but an outtake or exhale. The reason why I've chosen for this one is that typically you always see the exhales on the top of the rack, and I didn't choose for an inhale as well because otherwise I have a problem again because I only have 4 U's. And before I forget, the reason why I have 4 U's is really because I am not the strongest person and I have a very small car, and I want to be able to pick and choose the location in my car for my gear, and having an 8U rack is extremely difficult to bring into my car because I only have 3 doors, and a few of those smaller ones make it a little bit more easy to do it. It does cost a little bit more build-up time. That's the side effect, which is a bit of a bummer, but at least it's something that is worthwhile, and it's still less than having everything in boxes. So that's the reason why I've chosen for this setup right here. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to remove all of this gear. Be very careful with the ATEM. Extremely careful with the ATEM because very expensive piece of equipment. And let's put that one in. Now, before I do that, there's one thing that is especially of interest for my European friends, is that this is not the adapter that comes with the product. Actually, it is this one right here. Let me get it out. It's this one right here, which is a US socket, which we cannot use in Europe. So I had it. Luckily, my dad has had this one with him, or he had it lying around at his place, so I could use it. But still, I would have loved to have a European one with me for that one. Next to that, I also have this cable right here, which is a what is it called again? A probe. Yeah, of course, a probe. So it actually calculates the temperature in the rack, and based on that temperature, it will automatically spin up or spin down the fans, which is extremely interesting. So I will be definitely using that one. Of course, I will not be adding it to something at the moment, so I will just put it into the probe points right here, and I will show it to you maybe on this one. This is what it looks like right here, and of course for the sake of it, right there as well. And but it does come with its own. Let me remove these cables and push them all the way to the back. And of course I will put them all the way up top. It does come with these screws, which I am gonna use. So I don't have not enough screws anymore. So, all right. So let's start to build the rack with the fans. Of course, the fans are first. And typically I would lie it on the ground, but for the sake of video, I will. There you go. It's way easier to put it to do differently, but okay. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, there you go. All right, that's enough for now. And then just get that other one ready as well. And make sure that I'm not going to curse. I don't want to curse. Sorry for bumping the microphone there. I will make sure that it's not happening too much. And then let's get this party started. All the way up to the front of the top, I mean, of the unit. It's nearly there. I'm not going to tighten it too much. I think that this is enough for now. Now let's get back and get it all the way up, because I do need space in between, so I'll just try to make it as high as possible. And then let's add the third and fourth. Of course, it's now, I don't have an electric one, so if you guys, I know that a lot of you might have those electric screwdrivers, but I want to feel what's going on. Hence, I don't do that. And I think it would be cool to see how much sound this fan makes when there's nothing in there yet. So it's screwed in. Can you see that? Yeah, it's screwed in. You can see that. Awesome. Let me see if there are any questions in the meantime, or comments, because Petra, you're making a mess of it. That's also a comment, of course, so it's totally understandable. Thomas says, such colorful SDIs. Yes, I do like my color coding, and that's really something that I would like. Shane and Hannah, welcome. Appreciate you for being here. Eric says, any amount of color difference or on cabling is stops in my book. Yeah, so it might be, as long as it's color coded, it's okay. Just throwing it in there, that does make sense to me. But yeah, it does make sense. Now, to be honest, this is also a test rack, right? Because I first want to see if everything is working as I had planned. If that is the case, well, then and only then I will be really investing in other cables and making sure that those cables are perfectly fitted for this rack. So these cables are actually a little bit too long for this rack. However, yeah, for the sake of time and for the sake of possibilities, I think it's good for this build. Amari, welcome, by the way. Been looking into buying a Belden. Wait a sec. Belden 1384. But I can only find 1,000 feet rolls for 1,500 euros. So wow, yeah, it's quite expensive and big. A huge amounts of SDI cabling there. Uwe says we have the same fans. They get a bit loud. Oh, interesting to hear. Well, to be honest, my Hyperdeck actually is, I think, at the moment the loudest. So as long as it's not louder than that, it's okay. It's an old Hyperdeck Mini. It's one of the first. I'm still using it to this day. It is one of the things that I want to replace one day, but it's not on the highest priority level at the moment. The highest priority level is at the moment audio, to be honest. I want to have microphones for myself, wireless microphones, and I'm really struggling to find what I want. Do I want to go for the Shure, or do I want to go for Sennheiser? I do want to go for digital. That's for sure from my perspective. That's 100% for sure. But my biggest issue is one of the two brands, and then stick with that because I do like to have it nice and the same all across the board. That's one. And the second thing is that do I want to have two handhelds? Do I want to have one handheld and a belt pack? Do I want to have a headset? Do I want to have a lavalier? And that is something that I'm still trying to figure out. I do need at least one headset, so that it makes perfect sense to start with that one and move on from there. But not 100% sure yet. But that's the highest priority at the moment for me. And second priority is still to buy a third MDHX converter because these are really cool. And then I don't know. We'll see what happens after that. Let me see if there are any others. I get rid of wall words as much as I can. Yeah, I can imagine. And oh, that's a good remark. So you will see that I'm not removing those yet. And you'll actually see that I still have these really long plugs that I'm still using at the moment. That's not by design. It's not my end result. Far from it. But I want to have it as much as possible standard at the moment, just to make sure that everything is fine before I really go into buying all kinds of other ways of minimizing that footprint. But definitely, it's one of the things that I want to do at the later stage. Amore says, "Oh no. I built my own power distribution box with 12 volt, 5 volt, etc. Nice. I need your help. Sweet. That's good. MT says, so did I. Meanwhile, 5 volts, 18 amps with 10 microconverters like Ryan did in his rack. Yeah, so that's probably also going to happen with me. Not that at this moment. Like I said, I'll just start with as lean and mean as possible. With less amount of complexity, and then build on top of that. I also need to learn it by myself, so it's just a matter of learning how to do it, and then just do it, and then move on from there. But the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant of doing that is that I'm also for my audio I'm going to go with a 6U rack for sure, 100% for sure even. And if that is really something that I like and it's really portable enough for me, it might be that I'm also going to buy a second 6U, and then this rack, what I'm just building at the moment, will go to that one. So now you know why I'm a little bit hesitant. And he says, I did replace the fan of my older HyperDeck with a Noctua. Awesome quiet since then. Oh, I need to do that. That's a good idea. All right, let's go back to this camera right here, and let's move on because we have time pressure. We need to get ready. So let's see how things will sound if I would switch this on. So I have this nice German built power cord thingy. And let me try to get that organized so that we can switch it on and see how things will sound like. Unfortunately, I do need to step out of frame for just a bit. Just give me a few seconds. Bye-bye. Hey, Kermit. Hi. Where is it? Uh-oh. Power, I need power. I need power. Well, this. There you go. Come on. There you go. There you go. Oops. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Sorry for that, guys. That would hurt, I think. There you go. Oops. The ball joint is not the best. There you go. Am I in a picture? Yes, I am in a picture. Correct. So let's switch this one on and see how much noise it makes. So here we go. Here goes nothing. That's 6. Let's change the speed a little bit. That's quite okay. But it was really good. The fan is blowing inside of my face, which is of course not desired. However, yeah, let's just say that it's not in front of me all the time, so it's totally fine with that. But it sounds really good. It states that it's 65 Fahrenheit here in the system, so it does see the probe, and it's set to 85 Fahrenheit to keep it there. So it's a good starting point, and it's quieter than my laptop. Let's say it that way. It's more quiet than my laptop. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's definitely a nice nice amount. It does state it's now on speed level 2, and it can go all the way up to 6. That's so you can just add that right here. 5, 6. So now it's on 6, and of course I need to figure out how things work. So, but let's just keep it on 1 for now. I'm happy. So I'm gonna switch this off again, and make sure that this is all out of the way. And then let's see if there are some comments before I move on. Yeah, Kermit definitely wanted to help me, which was really cool. What was the 40 millimeter Nokia fans aren't very expensive, 16 or 18 euros. That's not expensive at all. We're gonna do that. Do I need to do that on video? And then he says, and as known, the normal small 40 millimeter fans are quite noisy. With 6 that in that 1 U, you can reduce the U per minute and get it quieter. That is cool. All right. So let's move on. I just saw the time, and I do want to a little bit speed up a little bit for you guys. So okay, here we go. So this is the fan, and let me just, for the sake of making it easier on myself, remove this part right here, and use that for a later moment. And then for now, I want to flip the rack a little bit, like so, and remove these cables out of the way, because now, oh yeah, now you can see how small it is right here. This is everything. It's so unbelievably. Can you see that? Yeah, so this is it. This is the end right there. So that's really beautiful. That's perfect. Now comes the major system. But before I do that, I can do actually 2 things. I can either put in the SDIs now or later. So I think I'm going to do that right now. So how do I do that? So I'm going to go to this one right here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, together with you, use or connect some SDI cables. Let me see where I can put stuff down, and move on from there. because otherwise it's going to be quite a challenge to get into to the rack. So what I've done is that I've added this small A4, and it actually states which cable goes where, and that will also help me. So it has 20 inputs, 12 outputs, and then 2 multi-views that are separate. And like I said, blue is in, green is out, and purple is inside of the unit. And that doesn't matter if it's in or out, it's just inside of the unit. So I did pre-label a few of those the blue cables. So I now know that this belongs to number 2. Oh, wait a sec. Let me remove this one quickly. There you go. So I've actually pre-labeled all of the cables, so I know that this one goes into 2. And of course I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. But I need to figure out which one is which. So 1. We always start with 1. So 1 goes in number 1 on the inside. Let's do that live. Now, I know that there are B&C screwdrivers. I actually own one, but believe it or not, I could not find it anymore this morning. So I literally really cleaned everything in my living room and in my bedroom. For some reason, that one got lost. I know it's here somewhere, but it's lost. So this is number 1. And of course, I have number 1 on the other side of the cable, so I can figure out where it has to land in just a bit. Number 3, no, I want to have 2. Number 2 has to go down. And the reason why I'm doing it here is that with my fingers, I have more space to really put it into the system. And I want to avoid having to really reach into the system and that kind of stuff. And I don't need all of the cables, but you can already see it's getting already crowded. So that is something which I believe is good. Ooh. It's quite difficult to do that with one hand, but we'll try to do it anyway, because then at least you guys can see it. Again, numbers are... oh, put it on this wrong side. All right. So it's all a matter of making sure that everything is connected prior to putting it into the rack. You can do it the other way around as well, but again, for my fingers, as you can see, I now have space to wiggle around a little bit. And again, why am I doing this? For people that do not know this kind of product, you want to avoid having to break these connectors, and these connectors are actually there to save it a little bit. So I have 6 inputs. Only 6, Petra? Yes, only 6. So the first 4 are for PTZ cameras. So PTZ 1, 2, and 3, and sometimes 4. Number 5 and 6 are always for laptops, but can also be a third laptop. And those laptops are typically presenter laptops. And 7 and 8 are the Ultra Studio and the Hyperdeck. But then, of course, the fill, because the key will be further down the road right here somewhere. So looking at my my quick tryout, I will now say I have 1 to 6 already connected. And now I have to go with purple for the Ultra Studio. So unfortunately, I did not provide a label for that. So I need to do that later. But nevertheless, there are not so much purple cables, so it's going to be okay. So this is the Ultra Studio, purple. And this is the Hyperdeck. And again, these are the fills. So this is what you guys see when you're live. And the transparency information, or the key information, will be going down the road. +10. So that makes it also easier. So this is 7 and 8. So 17 and 18 will also be purple. And that is 17. And 18 will also be purple and will also be part of those systems. And before you know it, you see that you think that it's not a lot of cable, that this is always enough, but I only have like 6 left here, right? And then I actually also want to have on 19 the web presenter monitor output. I made a mistake. One more. All right. So there you go. And then 19 will be the web presenter. There you go. So now I have all of the units right here, and I also want to have 3 outputs. So output 1 will be the program outputs for ME1. Dedicated. I always know that that's the one that I have. Petra, what's your numbering system, Petra? So this one goes, this is 1, and this has to go right here. So that is ME1 program out. ME2 program out will be number 2. And auxiliary 3 will be 3. And that's just because I don't know what will happen with that one. But at least I want to have this one on the back of the unit. And then of course I also want to have the multi-views. And the multi-views are also, of course, purple by nature. So I will also use those 2 as purple. Even though you might think that they're green, but they will be converted to HDMI. That's right, come. There you go. A rack. All of those cables are connected at the moment, and at least I can now find which one I need in just a bit. And of course I can also already connect the Ethernet port, which I don't use for this one, but I do use the USB-C port. And of course I also want to have an HDMI port. Sorry, HDMI port. I meant a power cord, of course. There you go, a power cord. And before I'm gonna pushing it into the rack, I will check if there are some comments, because this is just a way that I thought that this would be a good idea. Let me see what are the comments. A bit worried about the comments, to be honest, because let me see. Ooh, a lot of people are joining in. Cool. Let me see where I started. All right. Amori says, Tekano, you need to replace the connector on the fan through though for the proper model. I know, I totally understand that. But I believe that you're talking about the fan, the 6-part fan that we put on top of the units. I have validated if there is a European variant of that connector that does not exist. The company does not provide that. And Leandro is also in the house. Welcome. Really appreciate you for taking the time. Let me see if there are any questions. Empty says, I guess the depth is the same like the normal rack power strip. Eric says on the 2ME SDI spacing is so tight, pre-connecting is the way to go. I thought that I didn't do that the first time around, but looking inside, I think, or inside, I mean, yes, I think that this is the way to go moving forward. Of course, you cannot avoid it totally, but at least these are already known up front, and this will also be helpful. Thomas says, I might have bought another SCI screwdriver last week because I couldn't find mine. Same thing goes for me. I couldn't find mine either. Yeah, it's nothing. I agree. $11 €11 on it. Yep, I know. I actually bought the first one on. I got that blue one. You might know which one I mean. Which one I have. maybe have a look at your kitchen drawer. You like I said. Totally. Eric says it really shows the detail of challenge to the 2ME SCA patching. I totally agree with that. However, with color coding it and labeling it, it does help a lot. And those labels of the hyperdeck, and that I will do that later. That's okay. I totally forget it, and I have to get my label machine and that this in the living room, so I'll get that later. Cable labels are really helping keep the patching accurate. I totally agree with that statement. Aren't the labels supposed to be shrunk on the cable? Oh, yeah, you're right. Right, Eric. I did labels all the cables on both ends. I label and color labeled the connectors on the patch panel. Yep. No says our figures were. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, Eric, thank you so much. Wow, $10. Whoa, thank you so much. Thanks for doing the rack rebuild live. I can see clearly the challenge of patching the 2ME SDI. Wow, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. And Leandro going in there, 450 something. No clue what that is. +1, thanks for doing this. A tip for the finger spa after all the stress. Oh. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Absolutely appreciate it. All right. Okay, let's go back to the rack, and let's start to build in the 2ME. All right. Now, it's already quite heavy now. Of course, like all the cables are there dangling. And now, of course, I need to help them a little bit into the rack, but that's going to be okay. Right way up. No, this is the right way up. All right. So this is what it looks like, and I am going to push this one all the way to the fan location, but I will try to give a bit more space at the bottom, and I'm going to tell you how in just a bit. But before I do that, let's try to get it connected before something breaks. Now, of course, I can make it really nice with these rings, etc. But maybe Petra, you should just be more logical and do it like this. Wait a sec. Let's just go like this. Right. There you go. At least it kind of fall really, and then. Where is it? There it is. Oh. No, it's not there. Okay, there it is. Keeping it down a little bit. Making sure that everything is connected. At least I don't want to have it fall. So that's one. I can already There you go. Oops. Oh. Am I still? Yeah. Yeah, it's quite difficult to see it over here with the light, but it is connected now. So now I can also freely change it again to another orientation. There you go. There you go. Of course, it's not fully connected at the moment because there's still 2 screws left, but that will be fixed in just a minute. Not tightening it fully, because then I can orient it still a little bit at a later stage. I think that I do need to orient it a little bit differently, so let me try to do that now. Yeah, that's where I need it to be. So there you go. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. And yeah. And 4. There you go. Boom. So now let's see how much noise it now makes with those 2 systems connected. Get rid of a little bit of the cables right there. So also get a little bit gone. There you go. Now let's see how it now sounds with those 2 systems on board. Yep. I just want to make sure that I have the power cord of the ATEM. There you go. And the power cord of the, where is it? There it is, the power cord of the fan. Okay. Let's go. Very quiet. Barely auditable. So that's cool. Now with the hyperdeck that will change, of course. But at least this is really good. So next up, well, let me just check if there are some comments in the meantime. In the meantime, you can see the end result. And let me fasten this one right here a little bit and see what you guys are saying. Wait. Oh, wait. Empty says stand a rack on the back and hang the unit in, easy to screw in. Yeah, I agree. I should have done that. Yeah. But the thing is that you guys want to see something, and the other way is a little bit difficult for me. Hence, that's the reason why I didn't do it. But this is, hey, for you guys are important to me. Is there a noise meter in the house? Yes, Kermit is here. My cat. No, I don't have a noise meter in the house, but it's really, really quiet. It's way more quiet than my laptop that is running here just about half a meter from me right there. Half a meter that way, I literally almost hear a little bit of a fan, but nothing more than that. It's really quiet. But of course, with the hyperdeck, the quietness will go away, but that one will be the last one that we will put in. So, because what is the next part that we're going to do? And that is networking. This one was a little bit of an iffy one, to be honest, because at first I didn't want to do it. However, I then decided that I just want to do it just for the sake of being able to connect the ATEM switcher. So I do need the network switch. I forgot about that one. So add the ATEM switcher here and then add the 2ME switcher at a later stage. Now this is the router that I have. It's a Netgear unmanaged switch because it doesn't have to be perfect, to be honest. It does support PoE. However, I will be using another one moving forward. But for now, for the sake of this rack, this is really only for controlling the system. So that is really good. And it's not for streaming. The web presenter will have its own dedicated network drive, network connector. And this one is really only for the ATEM switcher, which, by the way, would be this white one, which I totally forgot to put into the rack just now. So we'll do that later. Anyway, let's start to put this one. Oh, of course, we need to make sure that we have a power brick. This is the power brick. And the reason why I'm using this one first is actually because it has a opening on the top and on the bottom. So I do have more air that can flow also below the unit. Of course, it's not perfect, but it is a starting point nevertheless. Let me switch off the unit. And then also, again, for the sake of you seeing what I'm doing, I'm doing it a little bit awkward, but this one is not that heavy and also very easy to put in. So I have to admit that I actually added these brackets wrongly because I wanted to have the cabling a little bit more flush. So that's the reason why it's a little bit more further back than you typically will see. So that's by design. That's my idea, and maybe I'm stupid, but it's just the way it is. I think it did serve me well. So that's the reason why I have added it like that way. And I hope that you now also see, and I'll just demonstrate it in just a bit when it's connected. And now it's connected. I actually can move this whole screwdriver all the way on the top of it. So there is some space for some ventilation. That's the reason why I've put this one right here. Actually, it would be better to have it all the way down. However, then I will lose this functionality, and I want to keep the ATEM cool. The other things I'm not so worried about, but the ATEM needs to be cool. Next up is my Terranex system, and let me go to this screen right here. So this is the Terranex system that I have. It actually has 3 units. This is the Ultra Studio. The Ultra Studio will provide key and fill, and it can connect via Thunderbolt port to a MacBook Pro or to a Thunderbolt enabled Windows laptop. And it will support key and fill, and this is where I will run my graphics, run my lower thirds. That's this box right here. So it's extremely important for the production. This is the web presenter. That's of course really important for streaming. The 2ME switcher does not support any streaming capabilities. Hence that one right here. The web presenter HD, really important. And in the center is the very old hyperdeck, and I'm saying it's old because it's really loud as well. So I actually need on the back you'll see I need two power cords. Oops, that one and that one. I need a few cables, which I already have, of course, on the other side, so I can use that. I have here you have A and B from the Ultra Studio that I need. I have A and B for the HyperDeck, and I have a monitor output, which I thought that I needed a converter for. So that doesn't need to be. Simplification. I love it. I thought that I needed to convert that thing. Okay. Well, without further ado, let's start to add some power connectors right here. So that's one power connector, and also a Ethernet port. And this is a red Ethernet port. Why is that a red Ethernet port? That's because this is the only Ethernet port that I actually have that is not on my own private network. So if I'm on a location, and this is the only cable that is actually not connected to my local network, but to the network of the venue. So that is the reason why it's red, because I don't trust it. Then I need to add a power cord right here as well. And these are quite long power cords. I know that. Like I said, I will be purchasing smaller ones at a later stage. However, at the moment, I don't have them. And I always learn to take what you have and move on from there. I've been building up my kit for over 12 years. I started with literally a small camera, which I used to have here to show you, but it's a very small camera. And building on top of it, it will take some time, but at the end, it's really cool. So this is the Thunderbolt port, which I actually already have also here in my hand, and it's also labeled. So now that I have that as well, I think that I'm ready to put it into the rack. And then I need to put my fingers in, unfortunately. Because that's it's going to take some time to get it all organized. So, oh, wait a sec. I forgot to... oops. I forgot to do the lower screws. So make sure that everything is properly connected. Still have 4 screws left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, perfect. Want to make sure that everything is nicely connected. Yeah, and of course the last one is really easy to put in because of gravity, of course. So let's start with this cable, pushing it all the way to the back. Oops. Of course, typically you do that another way, but due to the... Let me use my... we're going to do it a little bit differently today. I thought to do it simple, but unfortunately it's a little bit more difficult to do it this way. So I'm just gonna do it this way. All right. And that one can perhaps go like so. Yeah, we can push this one back and make sure this is the Thunderbolt port, the Thunderbolt cable. I'm gonna push that one a little bit back. Let's just remove this one as well. Just simplify it a little bit and try to make sure that it fits. It does not fit. Okay, we'll figure it out. Maybe it's a matter of and if it's really a big problem, I'll just double this one, but I don't want to be honest. Yep, that's what. Now it's fixed. All right, let's get this one in. So it's still a full rack. However, the idea is that with the fan above and the space that I have here in between, and and there's no product here and there's no product there, that it will have enough ventilation and not a lot of interference of other products, so that will be okay. This one is not correctly oriented. Let me see what happens. Let me. Wait a sec. So sometimes you need to be a little bit like so, pushing it that way. That should be enough. Oops. There you go. It's not doing what I want. Let me see what. It's there. It's in. No, it's barely in. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. There you go. There you go. And then, of course, the lower ends as well. And now we have the front of the unit ready again. Yeah, it's a bit. There you go. That's one. And then the last one. And then we can start to combine the. I have a problem, I think, or not. I do have more screws, but I think that I've. Okay, I'll just keep two out of the unit for now, because I need to have two screws for the back. And I will just fix that a little later. Also looking at the time. Now I still have two screws. All right. So now, let me see if there are any comments before I move on. Also looking at the time. What is the time? Oh. Right, that's why it isn't on the internet. Oh. And Maurice says not plugging anything to venue network that doesn't go through my router viral. Yeah, exactly. And that's also indeed like MT says, the reason why I've chosen to have the web presenter fully removed from my own network. Now, in all fairness, I can either use the USB C port that is in front of it. Let me go this route. So there's a USB port right here. Remove your comment right here. So I can use that USB port right there to configure it without going on the network. But I can also just add it for a few minutes to my local network before I connect it to the system. But yeah. But at least don't go live with it, and also don't use it on the internet. Eric asks, what piece of gear did you? What piece of gear did you sacrifice not to install where the fan unit has been installed? Did you have to leave anything out? Yes, I actually needed to leave out these units right here. These are SDI to HDMI converters that were bought earlier than the micro converters were available. So, of course, these are way cheaper but were not that cheap back then. And so I bought a few of those long time ago. And I have been using them ever since, though it doesn't really, I don't really need it all the time. But that being said, I will be putting at least one of them in the audio rack due to the fact that I want to have a monitor on at the audio rack as well. So that is then converted. The audio rack will also have an audio to SDI converter and an SDI to audio converter. So it's fully converting all of the different things. And that's very handy looking at the future. Well, we're late as well. Digital creations. I'm gonna continue about 30 minutes. I think that we're nearly done, and of course, I will finish up later. But I want to at least show you putting the rack. The connectors, which were falling on the ground just now. I have those connectors right here, of course, that I showed you earlier. Let me show you what they are labeled as. So remove myself from the picture, hopefully. So moving from left to right, so you've got input 1 to input 6. PTZ camera, PTZ camera, PTZ camera, maybe PTZ camera, but can be also laptop. That's typical for what I do. For 90% is that what I do. Sometimes I need more, but then we can always adjust when needed. And then these, after this bracket, we have program ME1, program ME2, where this one goes to the stream. This one goes to the venue projector or beamer or monitors. This one is free format. This is the web presenter, and this is multi-view 1 and multi-view 2. So that is the way that I figured it out that I wanted to do it. So I would suggest to turn the system around and start to connect them. And maybe it's not going to be perfect yet, but at least you have some ideas how it will look like. So removing this thing again. And then, oops. Oh. So this is the back side of the unit. It's actually quite, you can actually see that really nicely. Cool. Okay, so this is the back of the unit. Like I said, I do need this cable, and it might be that I need to, let me see if I can push it through. If not, I need to open up the network switch a little bit. Yeah, I think that I need to open it up. Let me do that now, quickly, because I do need it there. Where is my screwdriver? There it is. And let's just quickly remove this side. Yeah. There we go. Can I now flip it a little bit? Yes. Open it up a little bit more. Not too much, because I want to, let me see if I can now just push it through. because I'm nearly there. Yes, feel it. Almost. I think that I need to open it fully. Okay, that's what it is. There you go. That's this one. And then let's just close it off again. There you go. All right. Okay, I can connect it on this side. In number 8. And then I can just push this one in. Let me check. Control. We must have control. There you go. Boom. That's the network switch. So that one is now done. And I do have to admit that I'm not really happy with the connector here. Seems to be a little bit dodgy. I'm going to replace this just in case at a later stage. So for now, it's I'll leave it, but I'll replace this one after this the show. I have to order a new one, I think. I have a bit of a feeling that this one is not 100% nicely done at the moment. All right, so let's close it off a little bit. And the cool part is of course now I have all those labels apart from number 5 because I again made a mistake, but at least I know it's number 5. And well, see, this is more difficult to now reach in. See that's the reason why I did it the other way around. But for one, I'm not going to change that. All right, number 1. Number 1. Number 4. Number 2. Number 3. Number, what's this? Oh, this is number 5 then. And this is number 6. And I'm missing one. Or not? Did I? Yeah, I messed up, huh? Shh, don't tell anybody that I messed up, huh? There you go. So those are the inputs. Do you see that? How nicely that looks. So they're all the different the same colors. And of course, what I can now do is that I can combine them. And I do like these units right here. This is Velcro, but not as strong but not a very strong Velcro. And I'll just add a few of these just to dress it a little bit, to make it a little bit more nice. Doesn't have to be perfect, but having nothing is also not an option in my opinion. So I do want to make it a little bit nice, even though it's just a test unit. Just want to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. There you go. Doesn't have to be, again, doesn't have to be perfect, but this at least looks a little bit more nice than nothing at all. Then, of course, I need to have the green ones right here. And these are also labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1. That one goes here. So that is program 1. Program ME1, sorry. This is auxiliary 3, and this is auxiliary or program 2. Also here, maybe add a nice Velcro. But I had a third, yep. There you go, and then another one, just for a bit more cleanliness. Also simplification. All right. And of course, I also need to have that red one right here. And push that one right here. Like so. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those units. Now, these 4, we already know what it is, right? So the above one, this one is the Ultra Studio. So that one goes into the Ultra Studio in A, as in the fill. So that one is, I'll need to check for myself in a better light condition that I'm doing the correct thing. A. That's A. And the same one, this one goes also into there. And let me dress it a little bit. Ugh. Difficult to dress it, but we'll figure something out. And this is B. So now these two are combined. And this one, did I now mess up? No, I didn't mess up. I did mess up. Petra, you messed up. Which one is it? This one? No, this one. That one, definitely not. This one I needed to do. Let me just try to make that work like so. So that's the Ultra Studio. And this one, the low end, and this one also on the low end. These are the HyperDecks. So, and that's also A and B. So this one also goes into A. Because the HyperDeck, of course, this one, the old one, can actually also be used for key and fill. That's that one. So now we need to move this one a little bit. These two are the multi-views, and that means that I'm going to use an SDI to HDMI converter. So this one says it's SDI in. So, and actually I decided to use the bidirectional here for another one, because this will allow me to you know, have a little bit more flexibility in the future. So this one is also an SDI in and an HDMI out. And I have some HDMI cables right here lying around. Yes. Still also looking at the time, I'm speeding up a little bit, guys. Just an FYI. So this one goes to HDMI out, and there's an arrow on this one. There's an arrow on this one. So SDI out, follow the arrow, goes here. And that one goes into, this is 2. So this is this one right here. No. Oh, wrong way around. There you go. That's one. And the second will be this one right here. And of course, this needs to be powered. And like I said, I will be using the standard brick for now, but This is typically one that I will change in the future, like so. And then, well, I'm gonna speed it up again a little bit here. Oh wait, this one is a web presenter, the monitor. We just figured out that there's a monitor here, and that's this one. So we're gonna add this one right here, and boom! That is that, and this is then what it looks like at the back of the unit. Of course, I need to dress it a little bit and figure it out a little bit because it's quite difficult at the moment. But as you can see, this is roughly what it looks like. And still a lot to do, but I think that the big fixes are already done. And I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me see if there are some questions or remarks. Wow, there are a lot of questions. Whoa. Let me see. Just enough space to squeeze in a one-use Turnex shelf. Yep. Did I answer this question? Oh yeah, I did already. Yes. Definitely, even for you, mass starts to add up quickly. Yes. Oh, it's really heavy, though. With the current setup, changing those converters to these small converters that I just showed you will definitely add less mass to the unit. And also I have less cables, believe it or not, at the moment. Now I do need to dress it, and it will take some time. I think that looking at where it is now, this setup right here, that will take me an additional 15 minutes to really get those cables correctly oriented so that I can put them into the rack. But yeah, I don't want you guys to be part of that mess. Did my camera flip horizontally? Okay, interesting. I have no clue what you guys saw, but interesting. My HU with all was 38 kilograms. Now 6U is 28 kilograms, fully cabled and with 10 microconverters, HyperDeck web presenter. Yeah, so it does. The size does, of course, impact also the amount of kilograms that you have to bring. But it's not only the kilograms, to be honest. It's also the usability. It's also having the center of gravity closer to yourself. That also helps to you know, not hurt your back. It's definitely a heavy metal in all aspects. Those cables will be too long. No, it will fit. I can tell you they will fit. They have been fitting already. The only thing is that you have to be a little bit more creative, so to speak. And yes, they are. It's quite long, but it is what it is. I don't have any other cables at the moment. I do know that I can build those cables myself, but yeah, just give me a few because I also need to utilize this part right here, Velcro. This is 3M heavy Velcro. To make sure that everything is connected to the rack, and everything is nicely lined up, and you will see that this is it will be jam-packed, definitely, but it will be doable. And in all fairness, I do occasionally have to remove the back lid just for the sake of getting into the rack at the moment. Again, for me, it's either having a big rack and having a lot of problem and not being able to put it into my small car, or having this and then occasionally having an issue. Because with this setup, I that's 9 out of 10 times it's perfect. Would it be better to ultra thin SDI cables? Yeah, that's also one thing that I've been considering. But like I said earlier today, it's what you have already, and use that first, and then optimize from there. So I do already have 1 or 2 ultra thin cables, but I only have like 2 of them. And budget wise, it's quite a challenge, you can imagine. So that's a bad idea. The web presenter has an Opel Telnet control port. Yeah, I know, but the web presenter is used, of course, to present on the web. So it's built for that, but it's the only system that is available and is only accessible on the web. All the other stuff is not accessible on the web. So at least it's limited. I would rather have that on the web than my laptop, to be honest. All right. I think, looking at the time and also looking at how far we've gone, I still have some homework to do, but I will be showing that off, of course, during the next Q&A session. That will be in 2 weeks from now, I think. Something like that, 3 weeks from now. I will show off how it actually looks. Again, I do need to reroute those cables a little bit. It will be a bit of a challenge to get it organized, but I do know that it is possible. I have done it before, so I'm not worried about that, but it's definitely going to be crowded. I also still want to fix this cable right here. This is the network cable. I think that that cable right there, it seems to be a little bit squished. I don't really like it, so I want to fix that, just for the sake of making sure that it's not dead. And that's all that I wanted to show you. I hope that you liked it. I really enjoyed seeing you guys here live and direct on Saturday. It's been a pleasure. It's already 1.5 hours. I think it's a good time to stop and then give me some time to work on it. Next week will be Carnival here in the Netherlands, which means it's going to be quite a lot of productions for me, at least. Most likely we'll have might have a production on Friday. We'll have a production 100%, 2 of them on the Saturday. Then on Sunday, again, 2 productions. And on Monday, again, 1 production. And that means that the coming weekend, I will have in total maybe 8 hours of shows moving forward. So next week will be quite a challenge for me to bring you a full-on taekwondo. I am considering to just go live and just to talk a little bit about what happened. Maybe even have a gig report. I know that you guys love it, so maybe you do that a little bit earlier than I would typically do. But looking at my availability the coming weekend, it might be the best just to have that gig report next week. I hope that you guys like that. I think that you do. At least that's what you guys told me last time. And that is all that I wanted to talk about. Let me know if you are looking into this kind of stuff and you have more questions or you have more comments that you want to provide, then please do that. Carnivals, yeah, it's quite huge here. Leandro says a great job. Well, it's not switched on yet. Still have to do some work there, but that's going to be okay. And indeed, like Phil says, thanks Petra, but also the rest of the A-team. I agree. You producers are all awesome, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. See you next week again with maybe a little bit of a lesser prepared to show than normal, but I will definitely try to explain to you what I've done so far. At least there will be 2 shows on that already done on that Saturday, but it's going to be quite different than what you will expect from me. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend. See you around. Bye bye.